Hello, everyone. By now, you pretty much have had to have heard that the summer's big movie is Batman Returns. In its first couple of weeks, it has already grossed more than $100 million at the box office, and it is already creating controversy. Some parents contend that Batman Returns, which is rated PG-13, is actually being marketed for younger children, and the movie is just too violent. Let's get an expert opinion on that from USA Today's junior movie critic, 10-year-old Danny Slasky. Please welcome Danny. So, Danny, what did you think of the movie?
It was very violent. It was a total attack against kids, the whole movie. Everything that kids love was being used against them.
Like what?
Clowns. Even the penguin had a ducky boat.
So
and
things that kids could identify
presents
with.
and mobiles. All that type of stuff were using to hurt kids and capture kids. Penguin's total goal was to hurt kids.
You think it was scary then?
Definitely for kids.
Yeah, for you?
I was actually a little bit scared, and I have never been scared of a movie like this before.
Yeah.
I came out of Terminator 2, fine.
Yeah. What do you think about the possibility of younger kids seeing this movie? You're 10, and it frightened you.
It's just not for younger kids. Penguin always had goop coming out of his mouth. Catwoman took her claws and played tic-tac-toe on a man's face. It was just so violent for kids.
One movie shines above the rest this summer. Batman Returns. Better than the first. One of the most creative and absolutely riveting films I've ever seen. Joel Siegel, Good Morning America. Batman Returns. Rated PG-13. Now play. Critics rave about Batman Returns.
Hey, stud.
Funny.
I thought we had something together.
Explosively entertaining. Keaton flies higher than ever. Viper's perfect. I saw her first. DeVito's dynamite. This is the summer movie of all time. You've got to see it twice. Gotta fly. Batman Returns. Directed by Tim Burton. Rated PG-13. Now playing.
Car. Chicks dig the car. This is why Superman works alone.
Good to see you all among the living. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talon Mix. It is a Smallville recap podcast normally, but it is... Zach, can you sing that song for me that I now like very much?
No, not Smallville.
That is correct, because we've been talking about all of the theatrically released films that Batman is headlining. Weirdly, a significant number of qualifiers there of theatrically released films that Batman is the main character of, kind of, except for maybe this movie. This movie still counts, obviously, but...
His name is in the title.
Right.
His name is in the title.
No Jokers, no nothing Batman adjacent.
No.
Just Batman movies.
You know, young Batman is in Joker for no reason whatsoever than to be like,
Honest to God, I don't remember that. I saw that movie one time.
Are you? Come on, you're ready for the sequel. You're lining up. You're chomping at the bit.
I am gonna see it. I think
that is. It's like a morbid curiosity.
I'm not gonna get away with not seeing it. So maybe they've won. Maybe they have won. You know what I mean? Like, what else is? I can't specify on my $10 that this is protest money. You know?
Yeah, all goes to the same.
I can't make it go somewhere else because I don't think the movie will be good.
Yeah, you can't give him the money and be like, yeah, but I'm kidding.
Right.
Okay. But I'm kidding.
Right. The thing about Joker is it's not even like bad. It's just nothing. It's just nothing.
It's well made nothing with no point of view.
No
just
point of view.
Well made. Well made. And I want to make something important. I don't know how.
A swimming pool.
This is my impression of people who do know how.
A swimming pool looks deep if you ain't ever seen the ocean. Like that's Joker to the T. I wonder if we were to revisit it. I wonder if we'd be kinder to it. I only saw it the one time.
Look, I didn't hate it.
It's not even that. No. It's not that.
No,
bad.
I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor and he's good in it, but there's no there.
It never answers why. No. Why? What's interesting about this? It's yeah, you're right. That's the cartoon guy, the cartoon clown man who fights the cartoon Batman. You know what?
Cartoon clown man, not as interesting without the cartoon Batman.
No, he is not. No, he is not. But we're not here to talk about Joker. This week, we are talking about 1992's Batman Returns, directed by Tim Burton. And Zach, my 30,000-foot view, I don't think it gets better than this.
No, it's all downhill.
And our downhill is still a slate of like really good fucking movies. There are minimal. I'm not at all dreading many of the movies we have coming up, but oh man, best Batman movie maybe is already a lock.
Yeah, it's between this and one other movie, right? Basically,
right. One other movie has to not be fighting for second. Or to not be like just clinching into second, has to really hold up to a rewatch.
Yes, for sure.
To not just be a great movie, because it's a great movie.
Which would shock probably a lot of people who are fans of these movies, because I think there's two types of people. There's people who think Batman Returns is the pinnacle of comic book movies, and there's people who think that's an insane thing to think.
We're
the former.
Maybe this podcast would be more interesting if we were both, like, if one of us was one and one of us was the other. No, we're both. Yeah. We're both.
No.
This is the perfect, excellent movie.
Every time Hollywood spits out another CGI shitfest superhero movie, this movie gets better. So it's
this
like
whole
growing.
Movie, this whole movie is just sitting there going like, are you kidding me? They put this out? Did Warner see this before you put this out? I'm so glad you didn't, because it's amazing.
This is kind of the equivalent of this movie being greenlit. Imagine it's 2002. Spider-Man has just set box office records. A studio executive meets with Sam Raimi. He's like, hey, Sam, we want you back for 2. What are your ideas? And he's like, all right. I want to do Doc Ock. And they're like, great. We love Doc Ock.
Awesome.
We love Doc Ock. Perfect. He's like, yeah, but instead of mechanical arms, octopus arms, they're real octopus arms. And they're like, okay. So like the science experiment went wrong and he grew octopus arms.
We can work with that, whatever you want. We did the organic.
He was born with it. Okay. Like the X-Men. Like it's like a mutant. Like he's born with these mutant octopus arms that have powers that like stretch and are really strong. No powers. They just look really weird. He's just a deformed child at birth.
He's a fucking freak. He's just a fucking nasty little freak.
Okay, so what happens after he's born? Well, his parents throw him in a river because he's ugly and they don't like him.
Are you writing this down?
Yeah. Sam, take some time. Yeah, think about it. Take some time to really chew on this. What's Doc Ock's evil plan? Well, he wants to drown all the children in New York.
It is. And you can see, like, so basically what happened here was, if we didn't talk about it enough last time, Batman was an enormous success. Just everyone at Warner Brothers got to buy a new house because of Batman. Yes. And then there was this, obviously, of course, let's do another one. Timmy, baby, let's keep the dream team together. Let's do another Batman.
And it's not just Batman. He had also had Edward Scissorhands right after, which was also a big hit.
Right.
And like, if you're gonna make a movie about a boy with Scissorhands a big hit, you know, you could do anything, right?
It's, by all accounts, Tim Burton, a hot director. Why wouldn't you get him back? And they didn't. It's not like today. They didn't contract him for like 2, 3, 4 movies. So they had to renegotiate. And Tim Burton gets to come to the table with, hey, you know all your new houses you're living in because of the last movie I made? I'm going to get a little more power coming into this one. Batman.
There's not going to be any Prince songs in this movie.
Right. This is Tim Burton for this film. As opposed to the first one, he got final script approval. He got final edit. Basically full control, story control, everything. It was like, I'm the boss. John Peters, producer of Batman, Batman was John Peters' baby. We've talked about John Peters, of course, on the last episode. We talked about him in our Superman Returns episode in regards to Superman Lives. John Peters downgraded to executive producer and not allowed on set. Because that's what you get when you get fuck you Tim Burton money. It was like, get that fucking guy off my set.
I love they just said, here's all the power. Do whatever you want with this movie. This huge property. And then Brian... It's never happened again.
It will never. It has not happened before this. It will never happen again. Warner Brothers, from a business perspective, made a mistake. From an art perspective, we're all better off for it. But from guys in suits in a boardroom,
At what point do you think they knew? Oh no.
It's
like
I'm willing to bet a lot of people were giving it the benefit of the doubt up until, and the movie still made money. That's worth noting. This was still
it
a
was
success.
Well received. It was well received. It
Critics
made a lot
liked
of money.
it. It made a lot of money. It just didn't make Batman money.
Right.
And it had some controversy. Well, we should probably get into at some point. McDonald's. The McDonald's of it all.
You can see maybe why they didn't see the backlash coming, because Batman is pretty dark. It's dark. There's murder and there's violence.
It doesn't look like the 60s TV show, despite being very much like it.
There's just not drowning children violence. There's not throw a deformed penguin baby into the river during the dead of winter violence.
It's if you somehow missed Batman 89 and just went straight from Batman 1966 to Batman 1992, it would be like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Is this still fucking Batman? Oh, brother.
I mean, I can imagine, like, my mom took me to see this movie. I think opening weekend.
Wow.
Me and my older brother, and we knew it was going to be fucked up because it was all over the news, and I'd already seen the other one way too young. But I can't imagine, like, a mom who was like borderline not sure if they should take their kid to it, but then was like, oh, okay, and then went. I can't imagine what was going through her head.
Yeah.
Watching this movie unfold. I'm sure many parents left halfway through.
I was, you're not that much older than me. A handful of years. But that's when you're a kid, it's enough of a gap that it wasn't really an issue for my parents of like, it wasn't enough on our radar. Even though we still had several Batman Returns toys. Though that all bled in with the animated series and everything. So like never really were we like, we want to see Batman Returns. If it was available, it would have just been on our TV. So I don't see Batman Returns until after Forever and Robin. I remember I'm in Florida. I'm at my grandparents' for the week, and we're at a Blockbuster, as I think we did every day while we were there.
Yeah.
And then, like, I love Batman Forever. I love Batman and Robin. I haven't seen this one. Fuck it. I want Batman Returns. I get till the penguin biting the nose scene, and I'm like, I do not want to watch this movie anymore.
The penguin biting the nose scene. I was in the theater with my older brother. He's 5 years older than me. So I was 6. So he would have been 11. And my mom. And in that scene, the guy's talking shit. And Penguin says, it could be worse. My nose could be gushing blood. And then right when he says that, both my mom and my brother knew. They both go, close your eyes, close your eyes.
I think this was all through the press. Yeah.
It must have been. Yeah. And I closed my eyes. I didn't see the nose biting until it came out on VHS because I was like, nope, don't want to see it.
So this movie...
What an insane thing to have in the movie.
What an insane thing to have in a Batman movie. And it's funny, in retrospect, as a 35-year-old man, it's not that bad. It's not.
There's blood squirting out of his nose,
it's
though.
Pretty fucking rough if you're 6.
It's not like he bites him and then they cut to a bloody nose. The blood geysers out.
It was the most intense thing I'd probably seen in a movie up until that point.
Yeah. Yep.
No, I did not at the time. I don't think I then saw the rest of the movie until after Batman Begins came out, and I'm in high school. And then I revisit Batman Returns. I was like, oh, this is the best Batman movie.
It's so good.
It's
so good.
Oh, I guess so. Before we get into it, before we get into the recap, I do want to talk about this movie's relationship with McDonald's.
Yeah,
this is so huge. Batman, huge movie. McDonald's, huge brand partnering machine. Obviously, of course, this is going to be a match made in fucking commercial heaven. I think McDonald's converts several of their stores to Gotham City McDonald's, going all out for Batman Returns. Marketing this movie to children who maybe this movie's not for. It's a weird Tim Burton movie that happens to have Batman on the cover. So McDonald's faces a huge backlash of, why are you marketing this movie for adults? To children, to which McDonald's, I think, had some sort of thing of like, well, we're marketing the character of Batman, not attendance to the film Batman Returns, which is the most... Okay.
Yeah, I saw the commercials on YouTube last week. They're straight up Batman Returns McDonald's commercials. It's not.
I think I will include the audio to a couple of those.
Excellent.
On maybe on the bumper ends of. This permanently changed McDonald's policy of partnering with movies. Of McDonald's needs to see the movie before they would partner with a movie.
I mean, that's ultimately what did Tim Burton and these kinds of movies in, is not the box office, because even though it wasn't as big as Batman, it was still, I think, the number one movie that year. It was huge.
Right.
And it's not the creative part, because it was well received. It's the toy money. Right. McDonald's money. Angry parents.
Which changes...
all the Batman money came from toys and tie-in shit. And if you're going to be in trouble for marketing that to kids, then you're fucked.
Right. Which would permanently change the course of the Batman franchise for the back half of this specific series. Of Batman Forever, I think, hangs on to some integrity as a movie. I think we'd argue Batman Forever is a good movie. But then would go further into Batman and Robin, which is not, and is a toy commercial.
It's someone said this about the James Bond movies: is every Bond movie is a overreaction to the previous
Wow, that's a good way to put it. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what's going on with Batman, right? You know, you have this one is too dark, so then they go lighter with Batman Forever. That one's a huge hit. And so they're like, people like this light fun. Let's go even more.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, yeah, but you forgot to make it good.
You forgot to make it good.
And then, of course, Batman Begins is a reaction to Batman and Robin and so on and so forth.
Right. Funny. Yeah, that's the way it goes. I'm trying to think of any other like interesting facts before we get into the recap, but I think those will come up as we recap it.
Yeah,
right?
Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we talked about it. We're maybe not as into the Wikipedia recaps right now. We've had good luck on Wikipedia before. We've had less luck. I have found a recap on another fandom on just the Batman fandom block, and I think that's gonna lead us a little more, just so we don't have to play. Wait, we've missed so many scenes. It's a little more of a detailed recap, which is what we like to do. A little bit to, don't get me wrong, part of it's laziness and we didn't want to write our own, but it does create some sort of experience if you haven't seen Batman Returns in a while. It's like we're re-experiencing it together. That's why we like the detailed recaps.
And if you haven't ever seen Batman Returns, this is going to sound like crazy talk gibberish.
Because it is. This is a crazy talk gibberish movie. That's
in the best way. In the best way.
I mean, that is nothing but a compliment. Okay, so we get our first... This Wikipedia summary, Zach, is broken into chapters.
Yes.
Our first chapter here is The Cobblepot Heir. We have a quote here to open it up. I was the number one son, but they treated me like number two, the Penguin. The story begins 33 years ago at Christmas time in a mansion in Gotham City. Oh my God, we get the snow. We're pulling in on the Cobblepot Manor, which we know because we get the iron wrought gate that says Cobblepot.
Wonderful model. Model.
The model work across this whole movie. We can't stop to compliment every piece of model work here because it's all so incredible model work.
It's so good.
The sets here, they had they knew a sequel was coming. They knew this movie was gonna, like, Batman was gonna do well. So they in the UK where Batman was shot, they paid to store all of the Gotham City sets. And then it turned out it was cheaper to film somewhere else, and they ended up having to rebuild everything anyway.
Well, they filmed it in indoor studio in Burbank.
Right.
And it's like hot outside, but they had to keep that fucking set really cold.
Right.
Like that just sounds like so much work.
Batman looks good. This movie looks so much better than Batman on every level. No
Batman movie will ever look this good again.
Never again.
I mean, the Batman looks really good. The Dark Knight, those movies look really good. I don't think anything's going to top this.
No, I don't think it's
sets. They're just not going to build sets like this. Ever again.
It's never mix of like practical with matte paintings just adds to this like fantasy realism that the movie's going for, and it's really fucking incredible. So the wealthy Cobblepots have just given birth to a child, but it is shown that there is something horribly wrong. We see the Cobblepot parents here. Pee Wee Herman, which is a fun nod. To Tim Burton's directorial debut, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. This, apparently, Tim Burton would have liked for this to have been Burgess Meredith, which would have been fun. Burgess Meredith was very ill at the time of this film and was not able to participate. But I like that it's Paul Reubens.
Yeah, me too. He was going through his rough time when this came out.
Correct.
So it's
correct.
And nowadays they would have airbrushed him out or something.
Except Paul Rubens innocent. And he was
exactly.
masturbating in a porn theater, guys.
Right? Yeah, that's.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Today he would not have gotten in trouble.
I mean, he wouldn't be he would have been in his home.
But exactly, yeah.
Okay, so they soon decide to abandon the child by dropping it into the sewers after an incident where their after an incident where their newborn attacked their pet cat and dragged it into his cage. That leads it to believe that, like, oh, it's specifically that he ate a cat, but like, no, it's such a beautiful, wonderful. They're at this whole opening is silent. Right, we just have Danny Elfman's boom, 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 boom score, and they're standing at the window, and they look proper and rich as they look backwards at the cage containing their horrible infant. It's the fairy tale magical realism vibes here are so good. If you can't tell, this is going to be nothing but us just gushing about how good this movie is.
Yeah,
I have no notes on this movie.
I think we'll have some fun with some logic questions.
Plenty of
that
them.
You're not supposed to ask, but we're going to because we need to have some fun here.
Right. I love the scene here we see in the snowy park here that has all the amazing artifice of an indoor set. They're pushing the stroller through the park. They're in black. It's a very Tim Burton-y black bassinet. Another couple with a bassinet are coming by. They're in all white. The bassinet is all white. And they're like, Merry Christmas. And the Cobblepots just silently keep pushing their terrible baby along. This movie's insane. This is how we're opening a Batman movie.
Yes, for those keeping score at home, this movie opens with a baby eating a cat.
Christopher Nolan would never.
No, and then the parents of that baby decide to murder him by throwing him into a river in the dead of winter.
Got to do what you got to do.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Well, was no one like, hey, didn't you have a kid?
It's they don't live that long.
Didn't you have a baby?
Didn't you have a baby? I have a baby. That baby's on the fucking grid, dude. Eventually.
Yeah, exactly. I could have sworn you had a baby. Nope. I'm your doctor. I could have sworn I was there.
It's different for rich people. It's different for rich people.
Penguin boy. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. It was back in the day. They could have been like, he died of, cholera or whatever the fuck.
Right. That's
pneumonia. He got pneumonia because we threw him into a river.
So as the baby's basket rushes through the sewers, the credits roll, and eventually the child comes to rest at the feet of a group of emperor penguins from the zoo. The opening here is so fucking good. And it is. It really sets the tone of like, this isn't a Batman movie the way we understand that now. This is a Tim Burton movie that has Batman in it.
You're getting something different this time around. That's what we're saying.
Burton talked about how we talked last week. Batman's a very good movie. It's a very good movie. Burton wasn't stoked about it. And I don't disagree necessarily with his criticisms of his own movie.
Well, Batman's a work for hire movie.
Yes.
He infuses with a lot of Burton-y touches, but this is a Burton movie. This is a Tim Burton movie.
So he didn't want to do a sequel unless A, he connected with the material, B, he had full control over it. And damn dude, he used it real hard.
I love it.
All right. Nope, sorry.
I just want to say, remember the self-contained sequel? Remember that?
I only vaguely, only in a distant past pleasant memory.
Not only is it not setting up other movies, but you don't even really have to have seen the movie before it.
No.
to enjoy it.
No.
Maybe to get one or two references, but barely. It's mainly just this works on its own.
I've seen this movie 100 times. I've seen Batman single-digit times. You know, like they don't have to come in a pair.
And they kept doing. I mean, the Batman Forever is the same way.
Right. Right.
Standalone. Couple references, but standalone. God, that was cool.
And we'll gush about them. I think we're both big fans of the Christopher Nolan trilogy. And not that I don't think someone, if they just came into Dark Knight, would be confused. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
You get it. It gives you everything you need. But there's something to like a James Bondian-ness to a Batman.
Right.
Like Batman, Batman. And here's a Batman adventure.
I mean, look, we can have both. I like having the serialized movie sequel, but the problem is that's all we get now. We don't get the old school, which is like, hey, this is just another adventure with the character you like. That's what sequels used to mainly just be that. Dirty Harry, Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, whatever. This is just another one of these with a different flavor.
Confused me like the 17th time we've rebooted Spider-Man. Like, do we need to can you just take our cultural understanding of Spider-Man and just like, here's a Spider-Man movie, you know? It like doesn't have to necessarily be in like direct connection to any other continuity. Like we fucking know who Spider-Man is. Like just make a Spider-Man story.
These Batman movies is the same thing as the James Bond movies up until Brosnan, which is different actors. But technically, it's the same continuity. They're referencing stuff that happens in previous movies, like a little bit.
Right.
Same cast kind of pops up, but who gives a fuck?
Right. Who gives a fuck?
Take it or leave it. It's the take it or leave it continuity. Right. It's
the only other franchise I think that would do is X-Men. X-Men would be so sloppy that it's just sort of like, I don't fucking know. This movie is this movie.
Yeah, except for they also try to have their cake and eat it too with X-Men a little bit as it goes along.
Definitely. 1,000,000%. These are prequels to the X-Men movies, unless you notice any incontinuities, in which case it's not.
Right, yeah. There's time travel. All sorts of stuff can happen.
Yeah, Okay, next chapter, Zach. The lighting of the tree ceremony. 33 years later, it is Christmas time again in Gotham as the ambitious but ruthless business tycoon Max Schreck gives a speech at the tree lighting ceremony. Max Schreck, of course, is Christopher Walken, just in chef's kiss mode.
Oh, so good. Playing like a smarter Donald Trump.
I got very much Donald Trump vibes through this rewatch.
Donald Trump, and sorry to get political just for a second, is like a combination of the Penguin and Max Schreck.
Very much so. Very much so. But Max Schreck is also like the political entity that pushed Donald Trump forward in order to get what they wanted, much like Max Schreck does with the Penguin is much more Donald Trump than Max Schreck is, I think.
If this movie was today, Max Schreck would just be running for office himself, right?
Correct. I think we mishear in this summary a scene in a boardroom where we are introduced to Max Schreck. We are introduced to Michelle Pfeiffer, Selena Kyle,
yes. And the boardroom, Brian. The background is a big old model in the background of Gotham City. It looks gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Also, most importantly, we are missing an introduction to Chip. Chip is Christopher Walken's Max Schreck's gargantuan, colossal mongoloid son. Who is also doing a Christopher Walken impression, like, Dad, we have to get to the tree lighting ceremony.
Yeah, he's like, Dad, we got to go bring gifts to the masses. It's like almost an Arnold. Like,
I feel like I've been sleeping on Chip for years. It was rewatching for this show that I'm like, Chip, you beautiful hunk of a man.
Brian, did you notice? I think it's in the scene when we flash back to the office and Selena Kyle realizes she forgot the speech or he forgot the speech or whatever. Did you notice the pictures of Max Schreck with famous celebrities hanging on his wall?
I know exactly where you're going. Please continue.
There's a picture of him with Elvis, with Sammy Davis Jr., and a picture of Max Schreck with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So the question is, Brian, in the universe of this movie, is that Arnold Schwarzenegger or is that Victor Fries?
A phenomenal question. I choose to believe that it is Victor Fries.
It's got to be Victor Fries.
It's got to be.
It's got to be Victor Fries. He's like a young Nobel winner or whatever. He's like a scientist.
Harvey
Just
Dent is
ripped.
going to change races, but that's Victor Fries.
He's just ripped beyond imagination.
I'm a very large scientist.
All I do is research and lift weights.
That is called in the not yet.
A normal temperature.
Oh, I can't wait to get to that fucking Mr. Fries.
It's going to be fun.
It's
We're
gonna
going to
be
have fun.
I think there's going to be a lot of this the whole time.
Yeah, chill.
We should do the whole podcast like this. People will definitely listen to it to get a ton of these.
This is a very good movie.
You are very good at impressions. I feel like you have a specific like strike zone, and when you do, it's really good.
Yeah, the range isn't there, but once I'm in within my strike zone.
Everyone has like an Arnold. I'm just doing like anyone's Arnold. You have a more subtly like good Arnold.
You're doing the Conan like
Right. Right. I'm doing the Arnold anyway. Your Arnold's like pretty good.
Yeah, well, my Arnold's like running for office, right? Yeah. It's going to be a total recall election.
More of that when Arnold comes into the Batman franchise.
Yes.
Okay, so Max Schreck is giving a speech during the tree lighting ceremony. The speech is soon disrupted by a criminal group of clowns known as the Red Triangle Gang. Although Batman is summoned and able to restore order, Schreck is kidnapped amidst the chaos.
So,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I love the bat signal scene in this.
I was going to say, we talk about in this Batman series, we're kind of talking about nominating the best of whatever.
Yeah.
I think this is the front runner for best Batman intro
Oh, yeah.
in any of the
17
movies.
minutes into this movie.
Right. But 17 minutes in, and it just is so simple and tells you everything you need to know about the character. If you hadn't seen another Batman movie, this explains everything.
There is a series I like called Mr. Sunday Movies, and they were talking about Batman Returns, and they criticized, jokingly, of course, having fun, Bruce Wayne's just sitting there waiting for the bat signal to go up. He's not like even reading a book or anything. Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Bruce Wayne just sits in his fucking big chair.
Yeah. In the dark.
In the dark. And then he comes alive when the bat's like, yeah. Yes.
And it's not like he's hibernating. He looks glum, like he's just sitting there bored.
Yes.
Like, I'm sad and bored because unless I'm being Batman, I hate my life and myself.
Right.
That's so good.
It's so no, it's exactly. Make no mistake. He is sitting in that fucking chair waiting for that bat signal to hit his face.
Yeah. And the way that people said it in that is like it was an accident that they did that.
That's how it feels. Like, and of course it's not. Of course it's not.
That's exactly their take on the character.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile,
the bat signal hits the air, and then at Maine Manor, what did I say? Maine Manor.
No, you said Wayne Manor. I thought you said it right.
I feel like I said Maine Manor. At Wayne Manor, these large like spotlight things like boom reflect the bat signal too. So who were the contractors Bruce Wayne got in there? Like,
he does it all himself.
I just want to know when it's going up. I just think it's good to know when it's going up. Don't ask fucking questions. That said, you throw enough zeros on that check, there are contractors who won't ask questions.
Are those bats? No, don't worry about it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's real obvious when the light shines to someone's mansion.
Just make sure I can't miss it. I don't care or anything. Just make sure I really know every time the bat signal goes up. Thanks.
All right, let me know when you're done building that. I'll be in my study, just sitting in the dark.
That's it. That's all I have.
That's all I do.
So Batman is summoned and is able to restore order. Max Shreck's kidnapped amidst the chaos. There's some great Batman action here. The bat suit looks better, way better than it did in the previous movie. Yeah. I believe conditional to Michael Keaton's return as Batman, there had to be a zipper in the costume. He had to be able to go pee.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what? Fair, and the costume looks better. So I don't see a downside here.
The ab area. It's like in the first movie they were like fake abs, and now it's like more like a futuristic.
It looks more body armor-y. I think it looks great. Yeah. I think the whole thing looks great. I think it looks excellent.
Looks so good.
This is a great Batman outfit. No notes. I have no notes. Batman here, a real liberal with the murder. Just no.
Oh yeah.
He was in the last one. He continues to be in this one. No killing for Batman here.
No, he sets a dude on fire.
Yep. With the fucking Batmobile.
Yeah, to be fair, that guy was setting other people on fire. He was dressed as the devil spewing fire out. You're asking to be set on fire, buddy.
Got it. Hey, that's how it goes. But yeah, Batman, no worries here. Some people fucking die.
And I love this sequence. It's not like a great action sequence, but it's great pandemonium. You have a circus, a gang of circus freaks attacking the city.
Right.
And it's just a feast. It's a visual feast.
And to that point, I don't think there's a great action scene across the two movies. It's hard when your hero can't move.
Right. And I never thought a Batman movie had to be an action movie. I know that's kind of the expectation now, but I don't think it should necessarily be.
I definitely, I've never thought of it that much, but like I agree. And I think we'll obviously talk about when we get to it. I think the Batman, the most recent Batman movie, really did it of like, it's a lot of Batman around dusty old tomes, like doing detective work.
Totally. Yes. And that's what I want. I want like Batman. I want atmosphere. And then give me one or two action sequences. That's fine. There was a great car chase in that movie.
Batman's action sequences can be in a car.
Yep.
Okay, so Shreck is kidnapped amidst the chaos and is brought to their leader, a short, deformed man known as the Penguin. You and I have talked about the Penguin in this movie, and I have read that they kept the Penguin pretty secret. His sort of fucked up nature. He's a fucked up little freak in this movie. You're a little more and I remember there was a whole thing around, just from what I've read, action figures were based more around like the comic Penguin because they didn't have
nothing like
they didn't have the mold for Danny DeVito's fucked up Penguin. Though from how you remember it, which I believe is more accurate, that's not quite true how it's sort of stated on the internet.
Well, it's not like they hid him completely. He was on the poster and in some of the ads, but I think on the poster and in the ads, it's mostly him with like the top hat, like the more traditional Penguin look.
Right.
that he doesn't have for a lot of this movie.
I've looked at a handful of the TV spots, the audio of which I will include in this podcast, and it seems like they've upped the color grading on him a little bit to not look like such a fucking freak.
Isn't that so pale? And,
he looks like a Tim Burton monster in this movie.
He's got like, what is like green black goo in his mouth?
Yeah. What is it? It's just green black fucking Tim Burton goo. That nose, the nose, very. I assume Burton worked with the same maybe makeup artist. It looks very similar to in Beetlejuice when Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis like pull their faces into weird cones. That nose is very, very similar to that. And he's a little fucking freak. And the Penguin, the comic character of the Penguin, the 60s character of the Penguin is a crime boss. His whole thing is he's a crime boss. Burton reinterpreted the Penguin as, what if he's a nasty little fucking freak? It's
who was raised by penguins.
Who was raised by penguins? Can I look up? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, what's going on at the Gotham Zoo, Brian?
I'm under the impression this is an abandoned zoo.
Are there?
So they apparently just left the penguins there?
I was going to say, don't they tear them down? Like, this place has fallen into some disrepair.
Gotham, to be fair, sucks.
Is this like a Jurassic Park situation? Like something bad happened there and they just abandoned it?
Yeah. Can I read to you? This is from Letterboxd. There's a film critic, Matt Singer, who I've been a fan of for a long time, has this Letterboxd review that I think is very insightful. Even as a kid, I recognized that Penguin was intended as Batman's dark double, but I didn't fully process just how thoroughly Burton gives him an anti-Batman origin story. Instead of his parents dying, Penguin's parents try to kill him. Instead of growing up in opulent Wayne Manor, he grows up in the sewers. But how did the Penguins get him out of that covered bassinet? Question mark, exclamation point, question mark. Rather than putting on a costume to disguise himself as an animal, Penguin is an actual Birdman, one without the unexpected virtue of ignorance, who cloaks himself in the trappings of a respectable political leader. That's pretty fun. I think that's fun.
Yeah, definitely intentional. Right?
Yes. Because
and then Catwoman, which we'll get into, is also a mirror of Batman.
Right. There's a lot of talk around how we've done it ourselves because it's fun. How Batman is more of a supporting character in this story, but to tell Batman's villains are how you tell a Batman story.
Yes.
Batman is reflected through his villains. That's not a coincidence. That's not a failing. That is, Batman is only as interesting as his villains who reflect him.
Yes, and I've never thought that was a good argument. Oh, Batman's not in it enough. It's like Batman, a movie called Batman is not just about Batman. It's about his world,
right,
which is rich. Batman alone is not interesting. The villains are what make him interesting. Okay?
There's a reason we're still making Batman movies and we're not doing Dick Tracy movies, you know?
Right. Exactly. Yes.
Man, there's a lot of shit there. It is a dense, rich mythology. That, as I talked about in our Batman 1966 episode, we continue to add to, like the continuous voices adding to this melting pot of our cultural understanding of Batman. And that I think is at its richest in Batman Returns. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
The Penguin informs Shrek of the reason he has taken him. He wishes to gain acceptance in Gotham's high society and needs Shrek's influence to help him achieve this. This is a classic Tim Burton, kind of motif of the freak who seeks acceptance from the larger world. Unlike a lot of other Tim Burton characters, Penguin actually is a nasty little freak with ill intentions.
Right. Well,
he's not Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
He's not.
No, the damage is not something that he's overcoming. It's like
right. He is a nasty, bad little freak.
Yeah, he's mad.
Right. So he needs Shrek's influence to help him achieve this. Shrek is skeptical, but the Penguin blackmails him with incriminating evidence of his more dubious business practices. It's a great scene here. There's so many great lines here. I was watching it today to get hyped back. I watched it, of course, with more attention when we intended to record this weeks ago, and then I just had it on today. But the bit where he's like, oh man, I have documents that your nuclear power plant actually isn't as like on the up and up as you say it is. And Christopher Walken says something to the effect of like, if there was anything that proved that, I would have shredded the documents. And then Penguin pulls out clearly a taped up document, just like a lot of tape and a lot of time.
You flush it, I flaunt it.
It's Danny DeVito is so good here.
Yes.
So
if this
good.
movie were released today, he would be getting Oscar buzz.
And should have then in 1992. Yeah. Pfeiffer would have been the one I probably would have put everything behind, but
for sure. Yeah, her too. I mean,
but DeVito here, it's he, I think for lack of a better word, kind of got forced into method acting. It took a long time to get into that outfit. There wasn't a lot he could do in it, and he was so off-putting that he was kind of on his own a lot on set, which kind of let him build into this very off-putting little fucking freak. I think that was also a part of like hiding him from the press, so he was on his own a lot on set, which made him a nasty little freak.
Probably hiding him from Warner Brothers too.
Yeah, right. Warner Brothers can't see. John Peters can't see this. This is Frank Reynolds from Always Sunny in Philadelphia as a Batman villain. Just a nasty little sewer freak trying to game the system to get more like notoriety. This works completely in canon with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, is what I'm saying. Next chapter here on the wiki, we have Time to Reemerge.
Wow, we're skipping over Catwoman, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. I see here. I think we got it in here. I think we cover it. Maybe not quite sequentially, but I think it's all in here. Shrek arranges for the Penguin to, quote-unquote, rescue the mayor's infant child from his own gang members. The plan works, and the Penguin becomes a hero to all except Bruce Wayne, who remains skeptical. The scene here is very funny. A clown freak takes the baby, flips up and down into the sewers. Gotta say, I have a baby. Don't do that. Don't do that with the baby. Don't do that with the baby. The baby's pretty hardy. Don't get me wrong. My baby's hit her head on a lot of stuff.
This is a well-trained acrobat, Brian. He's got it. He's got it under control.
Do you see who he works for, Zach? If he was a well-trained acrobat, he'd probably be using it to make money being an acrobat, not doing crime. And then the Penguin emerges like, I saved the baby, and everyone's like, he saved the baby, and isn't like, what?
Yeah. Also, how did you just rise out of the sewer like that? Did you have a giant rubber ducky underneath?
Yeah. But the people of Gotham eat it up, of course, except for Mr. Bruce Wayne.
First he's watching on TV, and Alfred's, they're in this like the biggest living room of all time. The fireplace is the size of a house.
Right.
And
great fireplace. I really noted the fireplace this time.
So great. Bruce Wayne's watching TV of the coverage, and Alfred's decorating a tree in the background. And Bruce Wayne's like, I hope he finds his parents. And then he switches like later that night. He's driving around in the Batmobile like, nah, I don't know. I don't know about this guy.
I thought about it. I talked about it last time, and I love how Michael Keaton's Batman is like comfortable with being just a weird little rich guy, not trying to be like Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne and be like, oh, this isn't me. Meanwhile, Michael Keaton's Batman is perfectly comfortable sitting on the couch while Alfred decorates a giant tree behind him. In his little fucking ascot.
Alfred has a great line when he is cruising the town as Batman, kind of keeping an eye on the Penguin as he works in that records building. First of all, Alfred calls him on what is basically FaceTime. And what I love about this is Alfred is ironing while he's talking to him. So even back then, FaceTime was used for this nonsense of like, yeah, I'm not just ironing some clothes. Just thought I'd check in.
Right.
But Alfred has a great line where he's like, must you be the only lonely man beast in town?
Alfred is another great line earlier in the movie. A paperboy is trying to sell him a newspaper. Says something to the effect of like, this could be a nice diversion, but most of the time it's a waste of time.
Yeah, scold the kid selling National Enquirers.
My grandfather, in the middle of the Depression, sold the most newspapers on Thanksgiving Day and won a live turkey. So imagine being his mother, his single mother with 8 children, and your youngest comes home with a live turkey.
Wow.
Because he sold the most newspapers.
Amazing.
Times were different, man. Times were different. Respect your paperboy if you ever see one. Okay. The Penguin asks to be allowed to find his parents and is given private access to the Gotham Hall of Records, where he spends all his time jotting down an apparently unrelated list of names. After this, he reveals his birth name of Oswald Cobblepot. And is
speaking of good impressions,
that's my one. I can say Oswald Cobblepot. And that his parents were a wealthy aristocratic couple who died under mysterious circumstances years earlier. That's it. I've never thought about that before. Is that detailed at all? The mysterious circumstances under which his parents died?
Oh, no.
Do you think he did? Do you think he knew who they were and he did it?
Yeah. It never says mysterious circumstances in the movie, does it?
I don't think. I feel like I would. I've seen this movie many times. I feel like I would note that if that was a bigger thing.
Yeah. Maybe that's from a novelization or some shit.
Yeah, huh? So putting on a melodramatic...
It's a deleted scene where he murders his parents.
Yeah, right. Putting on a melodramatic show for the press in a cemetery, a very Tim Burton cemetery. God, this is like... And we could spend all day talking about the fucking set design here, but it's the most like Tim Burton-y owning artifice and just leaning into artifice. It's... Oh, God, it's so good. It doesn't get better than this. There's no Batman.
Realism is great. I love realism in movies. It's not the only way to go.
No.
And now we're in this time where that's the only way we want to go, stylistically.
We can play hyper stylistic. It's fun. Melodrama's fun. This movie's all melodrama.
Yeah.
And that's not worse than like... It's good, guys. It's real good.
And it's especially good in a movie about a guy who dresses up like a bat and fights a freak penguin man.
Did you tell me Batman can't have fucking melodrama in it? We have to be fucking... Which is funny of how Zack Snyder, of course, Zack Snyder leans very much into artifice, leans very much into melodrama, while also being no fucking fun. This movie's fun.
Right, yes. That's the big problem. That's the big problem.
This movie's
no
very
fun.
playful. Zack Snyder doesn't play with anything.
We're still connected to the series at this point. Like, there's a lot of one-liners, silly one-liners that are good silly one-liners, not Batman and Robin silly one-liners.
Right.
But you can see the threads. You can see how we got there.
Tim Burton doesn't give a shit about Batman or comic books. He's interested in his own little story he has to tell here. But like, there's no worry here about the integrity of the character.
He gives a shit about his Batman.
Yes. He gives a shit about this movie that he's doing.
Whole, right.
But outside of the movie that he's making, he doesn't give a shit. And I think that the movie is better for it.
Much better.
Okay, so putting on a melodramatic show for the press in the cemetery, he publicly forgives his parents. Penguin continues winning more hearts and minds, becoming a media sensation. Shrek decides to use Oswald's fame to his own advantage, persuading him to run for mayor to remove the final obstacle to building a new power plant. This is tied in with, I assume we'll get to all the Selena Kyle stuff in a different section.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a bit here of like the mayor is opposing Max Schreck's new business venture, his power plant, which we have Bruce Wayne talk about a little bit.
It's basically going to suck power instead of provide it.
Right, which is very silly,
Max
and I love it.
Shrek, you silly, dubious
You
bastard.
silly, dubious bastard. Once again, this movie, I have no notes.
No.
No notes. Okay, so Cobblepot at first isn't interested, but would rather pursue his own plans for Gotham, but is immediately brought into the idea when Shrek mentions he will gain back status from Gotham's high society that his parents denied him.
Just a quick note about the nose-biting scene. He's in a room of his supporters, his campaign staff, and he bites someone's nose almost off. And I was like, that would end his campaign. And then I was like, no, actually, if Trump bit someone's nose off, he would still have.
They'd be like, he deserved his fucking nose to get bit off. That's exactly what would fucking happen.
No, it would be on TV live. He bit someone's nose off, and he'd be like, no, I didn't.
Not to get. I can't believe this guy's gonna fucking win again. He's gonna win the whole fucking thing again.
I can't believe. I don't want to talk about it. It's just gonna make me mad.
I'm not even mad about it anymore. I've just accepted we're garbage people and we deserve what we get.
It's so awful.
It's the worst. Awful. It's the worst, and we'll all die someday because we all deserve it.
We have how many months for God to intervene?
I've hit the point. I'm not watching the news. I turn off the news and like.
Good. I wish I could.
I know which old dude I'm voting for. I don't need to know.
Yeah. If I don't find a way to do what you're doing by November, I may die.
Find it.
November.
It's good. Just accept the worst, and then you don't have to watch it. I know which old dude who isn't quite in line with my interests I'm voting for.
Yeah. Yep. Because you know why? Because you're an adult.
I want to know who these undecided people are. But anyway, we're here to talk about Batman.
I know. I know.
The fuck, man. Hey, the fuck. I'm going to hear them both out. I didn't get enough last time.
There's not going to be a debate, Brian. Neither of these motherfuckers wants to debate.
And you know what? I don't want them to. I don't want them to.
Neither of these motherfuckers. And if Trump tries to be like, you have to debate me, Biden, I'd be like, absolutely fucking not. Right. You didn't debate anyone. There's no way I'm going to debate you. No. I'm old and I'm
No. And Zach, the only thing I want on my TV right now is wrestling. That's it.
And maybe a Batman movie
every once in a while. The next chapter here on the wiki is titled The Bat, the Cat, and the Penguin. During this time, Shrek attempted to murder his timid secretary, Selina Kyle, when she discovered that his power plant was in fact a giant capacitor created to suck power from the city and give the Shrek family a complete monopoly over Gotham's power. That is some goofy supervillain stuff. I think actually Batman Forever maybe does that level of goofy supervillain stuff a little better.
Yeah. Well, they don't.
It's kind of underplayed how goofy this is.
Right. Right.
Once again, no notes in this movie. No notes. This is in the background to the character melodrama that's happening. Okay, so there is a funny bit here of Selina Kyle exposes what she knows, and Christopher Walken does there's a hammy scene here where like, oh, you thought I was gonna kill you? Boom, pushes you out a window. And
it's brutal when he pushes her out.
Brutal, and then Christopher Walken just walks away.
I was gonna say he doesn't like check the paper the next day,
or even
to make
like
sure the body was found,
or any sort of like take care of that body down there.
When he comes back the next day, like the window's broken. No one's. He doesn't follow up at all.
You got to do your murders a little better here, my man.
I know you're rich, but dude,
this is a complicated like thing. You are rich. You should know better.
Maybe we should now just real quick do the Catwoman conversation. I mean, I wish we'd had a woman on the show to talk about it because she's such a feminist like icon. Not just Catwoman in general, but this iteration of the character.
Yes.
Specifically.
So we have to talk about the famous thing here, which is that Michelle Pfeiffer was the third in line, effectively. Or no, sorry, that's second. But Sean Young was never in consideration. I realize now as I've started talking. Sean Young was Vicky Vale. Sean Young had to drop out as Vicky Vale due to a horse riding accident. She then famously showed up to Warner Brothers in a Catwoman suit and was like, "Let me be Catwoman." And that didn't go great. That was not received as like, that was a cool and normal thing that you did. So she did not get Catwoman. That is a infamous pop culture thing that happened.
But she did get cast as the Ice Princess.
Is she the Ice Princess? No
She's
shit.
The Ice Princess. Yeah, they threw her a bone.
Did not realize she was the Ice Princess. That doesn't come up in the numerous times I've heard that story. No shit. Yeah. I did not realize that was her. Son of a bitch. Good for Sean Young. That doesn't come up when you hear the story. They only center on the humiliating part. And they
got her a job.
Put her in the movie.
They got her a job. It might have been a pity. Like,
no, sure.
She was almost Vicky Vale, and then now she's dressed up as a cat,
right?
Walking around.
You know, fuck. I'm so glad. I never knew that. I will say I'm not that familiar with Sean Young, like most people.
Yeah, she's in Blade Runner, Brian. That's why.
Right. So then Annette Bening had Catwoman. She became pregnant, which, if you look at the Catwoman outfit, that's not really gonna work.
Yeah. Thanks, Warren Beatty.
Yeah, right. So she had to drop out, and they paid Michelle Pfeiffer a lot of money to come in.
Did you know that she and Michael Keaton had dated before this movie, but they were broken up when they started the movie?
Interesting, because they got hella chemistry in this movie.
Yeah, they do.
We will see. This is the second time we've seen a Catwoman Batman romance in a feature film. We will see it several more times over this franchise. Mm-hmm. This is the hottest,
for sure. For sure, and it's good. It's done well 2 more times.
This is both times we will see again are good.
Nothing comes close to this.
oh, fuck, it's hot. It's fucked up and hot in this movie.
It's so good. Again, kids movie. She licks his face. She licks Batman's face.
That outfit, apparently awful. I mean, on camera, it looks incredible. It looks awful to be in. She had to be vacuum sealed into it.
Yeah.
It was.
I mean, it's the most Tim Burton looking outfit that's ever been made.
Take Julie Newmar as Catwoman in the 1966 movie and series, and then like just filter it through Dominatrix Monster.
Right, it's a cross between that and Jack's love interest in Nightmare Before Christmas. What's the
Sally? Yeah,
Sally. Yeah, thank you, Sally. Yeah,
it's take a tight leather outfit, remove all the sexuality from it for the audience. Like, it's a horrible monster suit. And it's so incredibly designed. Michelle Pfeiffer looks incredible in it. Her eyes, her lips. It's incredible. It's an incredible image. It was apparently so tight because she's vacuum sealed into this fucking thing. Each suit costs thousands of dollars, and she, obviously by being a human being, broke through many of them. She apparently couldn't hear herself talk. So, like, her performance is a lot of her, like, figuring out the volume she should be at. Which is amazing.
Well, it's a good performance.
It's an incredible... Like I said, if anyone was going to get an Oscar for this fucking movie, it's Michelle Pfeiffer, hands down.
So good.
I was when... Before Dark Knight Rises had come out, I'm like, oh, they can't do Catwoman because that's untouchable. They would try many more times, and they'd all be good. This performance is untouchable.
It is. You can never do this version of Catwoman.
Correct.
Right.
I'm not saying no one can do Catwoman.
No, but it's the same thing with the Joker. Was like you can't do the Jack Nicholson thing, but you can do the Heath Ledger thing, and now that Heath is the gold standard, so no one can do that again. Like you can't.
Right.
You just don't even try. Try something else.
Right.
That's how you explain that weird whatever they were trying in the Batman with the Joker, which didn't work. But they were like, we got to do something else.
Right.
We can't do
Right. And did that make the movie? I don't remember. I haven't seen it.
There's a deleted scene, but there's a scene that's in the movie at the end of it.
Got it. I don't know. Well, we'll
talk.
get to it. We'll talk.
We'll get there.
It's hard. I think when you're doing Batman, you got to do the Joker.
Yes.
You can't not do the Joker, but also don't.
I mean, it was done almost perfectly in The Dark Knight. So
yeah, that's the one. Are we completely writing off fucking Jared Leto? We just completely.
Well, we won't be talking about him in this fucking series.
No, we will not. He and Joaquin Phoenix do not qualify for Batman Oscars. I'm just calling them the Batman Oscars. Okay, so during this time, Shrek attempted to murder his timid secretary Selena Kyle when she discovered his power plant was in fact a giant capacitor created to suck power from the city and give the Shrek family a complete monopoly over Gotham's power. She survived her subsequent defenestration. Interesting word, Wiki, at Shrek's hands after she fell through a series of canvas awnings, softening the fall that surely would have been fatal otherwise. I didn't even think of that. It looks like she should have died either way. It's magic. It's just magic.
When I was a kid, I thought the cats were bringing her back to life. I think it's either way. I think she hits her head, she has brain damage, and then she wakes up around these cats and she's weird and different.
Kind of works anyway. It's a sort of magical, cartoony realism here. Whether it's the cats bringing her back to life, whether she's just lost her fucking mind. To her, I think that's kind of the same. You know,
Yeah.
After suffering a mild concussion, that's editorializing a little bit.
Mild concussion. Oh man.
She is circled and probed by a large number of cats in the alleyway, among them her pet, Miss Kitty. Selena arrives home in a despondent state. She quickly becomes triggered by a telemarketer ad for perfume marketed by one of Shrek's subsidiaries. Selena's apartment.
Well, the ad is specifically like, get this perfume so your boss will want to fuck you.
Yes.
And she's like, ah.
Right. Selena's apartment is wildly creepy.
Yes.
An off-putting pink color, and then apparently in her bedroom light is a LED crazy light that just says, hello there.
We should say that the background of her character up until this point is like timid, trying to succeed in a man's world, gets bullied all the time by all these dudes.
Right.
She was hoping to go on a weekend getaway with some guy. He bailed on her. Her mom is always calling like, hey, when are you gonna get a boyfriend? That kind of shit.
Right.
And now she ain't gonna take that shit no more.
She ain't gonna take that shit no more. She's Catwoman now. Becoming violently angry, Selena completely destroys her apartment. During this, she makes a homemade black vinyl cat suit and becomes a costume vigilante under the name Catwoman. Penguin's gang causes chaos in the streets to create dissatisfaction with the current mayor. While Batman begins to systematically neutralize the Red Triangle circus looters, Catwoman uses the opportunity as cover to blow up Shrek's department store.
We're skipping over her first appearance as Catwoman, where she murders an attempted rapist by stabbing him in the eye with her long nails.
There's a lot happening here that's a little... I think that's even before... That wasn't enough to make me turn off the movie when I was a kid, but it was enough to be like, I'm on edge now.
Yeah.
I think it's a 1-2 punch of those two things. I'm like, this is not Batman Forever.
She slashes his face across and then vertically and then pokes him in both eyes with her nails. It's bloody and gross and disturbing.
Speaking of Batman Forever, Marlon Wayans was formally cast as Robin in this movie. Which they initially wanted to make Robin work in Batman. Didn't happen. They wanted to make Robin work here. Cast Marlon Wayans. Didn't happen. Marlon Wayans, I believe, still gets residuals on this movie, having been cast in it.
Fuck yeah, good for him.
Didn't work a day on this fucking movie. Good for him.
Tim Burton kept trying to cast black guys in his Batman movies, and it just kept not working out.
That would be so fucking controversial now. Wrongly.
Right.
And
right, of course.
Burton was trying to do it in 1992, and I bet no one would have cared in 1992.
No, because Robin was considered so lame, they would have been like, cool, let's get someone cool in here.
Right.
Robin.
Right. We can talk about this more. God, I hope they figure out Robin in live action.
Like, Batman Forever is fun and it's a decent version of it, but like, I'm bummed that Nolan never did a Robin, like a real Robin. The Robin they did is not Robin.
Do it, coward. Do it, you coward.
I understand the hesitation of it's too silly of a concept, but you just have to basically make it so he's like his adopted son.
I think Reeves can make it work if he wants to. I think Reeves, in that
and then
series
he gets older.
Right.
Have a movie where he adopts him and he's just a kid and he's not doing any crime fighting, and then have a movie where he's in college or whatever, and then he's like, I want to join you and do that. You know, you can figure it out.
It's the Bruce Wayne becomes a father himself is an important part of the story.
Yeah.
And the movies don't do it. You know,
it's very untapped. They just keep doing the same fucking story over and over instead of like, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
It's because the Schumacher movies don't tap into the father aspect of it. It's like It's my
No,
handsome
they're
buddy. We're handsome buddies who hang out at the mansion.
Friends,
right.
Yeah. Well, since Matt Reeves is surely listening to this series, Matt. I mean, he listens every week anyway, but this series he's definitely tuning in for.
Yes.
I would like to extend an official challenge to you to include Robin and to try to do it well. No one's done it yet.
No one's done it yet.
See if you can do it. See if you can do it.
Do it. It's an important part of it. And everyone's too much of a coward.
Yeah. Grow a pair.
Grow a pair. Come on. Put the boy child in there. Okay, so Catwoman uses the opportunity as cover to blow up Shrek's department store. Is that where we get the famous whip shot? Catwoman in the department store, she hits the whip, she knocks the heads off of the mannequin.
Yeah.
There's footage of Michelle Pfeiffer doing it in one unbelievable Oscar.
I don't know when the two security guards come in. I don't know whether to open fire or fall in love. And then she fucking whips them with her whip.
The answer is to be afraid. If I saw anyone, the answer would be to be afraid. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the Catwoman outfit is not playing and toying with sexuality. It's toying with sexuality in the scary way.
Yes.
I'm very afraid of this woman.
Yeah.
She's very scary.
It's a power move wearing that suit.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay. Catwoman subsequently fights Batman, who knocks her off a rooftop after she stabs him in a weak point. A weak point. His abdomen.
She finds a weak point in the armor.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then he throws acid at her. Batman, that's a bold move to throw acid at someone. That's
and that's after he saved her life moments earlier. There's a great moment here where Michael Keaton gets a good strike on her, and he's like, "How could you? I'm a woman." And that's Batman's like, "I'm sorry." She's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah. As I said, I'm a woman and can't be taken for granted.
Oh, fuck. This is very Watchmen deals with this, not the comic, not Zack Snyder's film, which is very bad. But Alan Moore's comic deals with there's a Batman equivalent character. Have you read Watchmen?
Oh yeah. Great graphic novel.
Incredible book. But there is, of course, a Batman equivalent character. He's owl themed. I don't remember the name. Night Owl. And there's a whole premise here that Night Owl can't get hard unless he's in the Night Owl suit. As the normal, sad, pudgy man that he is, that's not, which Zack Snyder hated and apparently wanted to change because he didn't get it. But
because it's got to be cool.
Right.
Cool.
And Watchmen's not cool. They're the heroes in Watchmen are not cool.
That's not the point. No.
But I feel like we're playing with that element here a little bit of no, they're true selves. Their true sexuality is unbounded when they're in these fucked up, crazy leather outfits.
It's hot. It shouldn't be, but it is. And then she has a great line where she says, "Life's a bitch. Now so am I." Great line.
Oh, it's so good. Fucking hell, dude. This movie rules. So once again, displaying incredible luck, Catwoman lands in the back of a passing truck before she hits the pavement.
It doesn't say that it's a kitty litter truck.
It's a kitty litter.
She lands in an open truck of kitty litter. It's great.
Selena begins to convince herself that she has 9 lives after experiencing these brushes with death. It's not that literal as Wiki is saying of there's no, maybe she does have 9 lives. That's kind of not really the point.
Right.
Maybe she's a crazy woman. Maybe she is a magical cat reincarnation.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right, the next chapter is titled A Plan is Forming. While Selina Kyle is pursued in a romantic relationship with Bruce Wayne, I guess stopping right there, we get a great scene here where Bruce Wayne comes across Selina Kyle outside of a department store. They meet briefly with...
Bruce Wayne has the wonderful line, I mistook me for someone else.
Yeah,
because he was someone else when they met last time. Yeah.
God, I don't even think I appreciated how good that line is until just now. That's a really great line. And oh God damn. This movie's dense, man. There's a lot of good stuff.
It is. It's a great screenplay.
Great screenplay. So, Bruce Wayne has a meeting with Max Schreck. They kind of have it out where Bruce Wayne is a little like, you're in with Oswald Cobblepot. I don't love that. And and Max Schreck is like, rah, how dare you? I won't take the slender. But Bruce meets Selina. They talk a little bit, but then Bruce meets Selina again outside of a department store, and there's a great scene. Once again, Keaton and Pfeiffer having great chemistry. I didn't know that or maybe I did. That is maybe sounding familiar, but the fact that they had dated kind of checks out in a really good, fun way. But just Bruce being like, hey, come for dinner. And Michelle Pfeiffer being like, I can't. Come earlier then. 5, 6.
Yeah, so good.
And Pfeiffer finally being like, 5, yes. And
what I love about this relationship is that generally in a Batman movie, the female romantic lead is like I'm trying to rescue this man, Batman. Let me change him for the better and make him not be Batman. This is the opposite, where Batman is like, oh, look at this lovely Catwoman. Like, together we could leave this life, instead of like, oh, the woman's trying to get him to stop being Batman. He's trying to get her to be like, let's stop doing
this. That's a great point. We will never see another Batman story like that again. Or not that we won't ever in the future, but we won't across this series. No other movie will have that.
No, where he's just like, hey, what if we left this life and lived in my rich mansion and it was great? And she's like, fuck you, no, I can't do that.
Can't do it. I'm fucking mad because of men.
Yeah, even though I think you're hot, we have great chemistry.
Men ruined it. So as Catwoman, she allies herself with the Penguin to get back at Batman. Catwoman proposes framing Batman and turning him into a criminal, rather than simply murdering him by turning the Batmobile into a bomb. So we've now hit the crossroads of the way the wiki is played out is not quite linear with how the movie plays out. We've now hit Penguin and Catwoman just post the Penguin in his campaign headquarters sequence into the weird attic he's living in, because he can't have a nicer room than that. Yeah. Where we've gotten not zero jokes about how the Penguin has a boner.
We have the line where the Penguin says, just the pussy I've been looking for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Take that, McDonald's. Put that on a Happy Meal.
Do it, McDonald's. Do it, you fucking coward. So Catwoman proposes framing Batman, turning him into a criminal, blah, 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 blah. During their meeting, the pair playfully threaten each other's pets before Penguin finally gets inspired. Yeah, we get a good bit there where Michelle Pfeiffer puts an entire bird in her mouth, and Penguin threatens her cat. The Penguin still has trick umbrellas here in this movie, even though it maybe doesn't thematically fit as it's a little like, Why does he have those? Because he did in the 60s show. It does.
I mean, the Batmobile has gadgets. We're still doing that stuff. This is where it's like we're still doing the show, kind of.
For sure. I don't think the Batman, Colin Farrell, never has an umbrella. I don't think. We'll see when we get to it.
Yeah.
Next chapter, relighting of the tree ceremony. When the subsequent plan is put into action, Batman is framed for kidnapping and murdering, and finds himself trapped in the Batmobile under Penguin's control. He barely survives, but Cobblepot has become more popular than ever. Although their plan was a success, Catwoman and Penguin's alliance falls apart when she rebuffs a sexual advance from him, and Penguin opts to kill Catwoman himself. Any thoughts about those couple of scenes?
Just more great model work.
Great stuff.
Good stuff. Brutal death of the Ice Princess.
Yep. It's a good. Penguin has a batarang.
Yeah.
Or this is before even she dies, but we just see him chuck the batarang off screen.
I also like how Commissioner Gordon finds the batarang with blood on it, and then is on the news with it.
The evidence is circumstantial.
Right? Why are you showing it then? You don't have to show that evidence.
All right. Next chapter, the Cobblepot rally. However, his campaign to recall the current mayor is quickly destroyed when Bruce Wayne plays selected comments he stated while controlling the Batmobile. Here we get a bit where it's just not how CDs work.
I was going to say, no one at any stage of development told them that's not how CDs work.
Would you mind describing exactly what the
they had to know, right? They knew.
I don't know, or is it early enough in CD's life cycle that people are who cares?
Yeah. So Batman he made a recording of Penguin talking a bunch of shit about his plan and about Gotham when Penguin was trying to blow up his Batmobile. Great sequence, by the way, where the Batmobile, for some reason, has a button you press, and then it just, the sides fall off, and it becomes basically a penis, a bullet. And just in case you have to go through a tight alleyway.
Just in case. It
happens. Anyway, he uses a CD of this. He records. He has a CD burner in his Batmobile in 1992. That's impressive.
Ahead of time.
So he plays this recording of Penguin talking shit at the rally in place of what the Penguin is really saying, and the crowd is like, "Oh, I'm so mad at you. I hate you." While this is happening in the Batcave, when Batman wants to have Penguin repeat a phrase, he does a record scratch, where he just moves the CD back.
Gotta say, CD is not as popular. CD is a newer technology. It's possible people wouldn't know.
Oh man,
including production.
It's the one note.
Yeah.
For the But I wouldn't take it out. I wouldn't take it out.
It's great. No. I have no notes. This city makes no sense. In Gotham City, maybe that's how fucking CDs work. Who are we to say?
Yeah, right. Also, I had a note here that when they go to the Batcave, him and Alfred, to do this, Alfred takes the stairs and Batman takes a secret passage where he goes into a suit of armor and then goes down a slide into the Batcave. And as soon as he gets off the slide, Alfred is just there from the stairs. So it's not even quicker.
It's not. It's just he's a weird little guy. I gotta take the slide. I
want to take the slide. The slide's more fun.
I want to take it. I put the slide in, Alfred. I'm gonna take the slide.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of the secret passage if you also have stairs?
It's cool.
Because you can't use that secret passage when there are guests there. It's too conspicuous. You have to reach your hand in the fish tank, pull the thing.
It might not make a lot of sense. And also, apparently, if you're around long enough, Alfred will just let you in. Cobblepot's campaign
party.
to recall the current mayor's cool leadership when Bruce Wayne plays selected comments. He stated while controlling the Batmobile. It was recorded insulting the people of Gotham, and this audio is played over the sound system at a rally. Penguin flees into the sewers, renounces his humanity, and reveals his secret plan. Kidnap and kill the firstborn sons of Gotham's most prominent by drowning them into the toxic waste from Shrek's textile plant as revenge against what was done to him.
The best is the henchman circus guy who's like, Penguin, killing innocent kids, isn't that a little, and then he shoots him. Penguin shoots the guy and he goes, no, it's a lot, and then kicks him into the water.
Penguin has a lot of great lines, one of which is much earlier in the movie after Penguin kidnaps Shrek, is I believe the word you're looking for is ah!
Yeah, so good.
That's a very Beetlejuice line.
Yeah.
So while the scheme is being launched, the new chapter here is Face to Face. While the scheme is being launched, Selina Kyle attends a masquerade ball hosted by Shrek, where she is intending to kill him, being Shrek. Bruce Wayne spots her, and the two subsequently discover the other's secret identity. But before they can leave to discuss this development, we gotta stop there. Okay, first off, it's a masquerade ball. The only two people not in masks are fucking Batman and Catwoman.
Brilliant.
And we don't need... We're both avowed fans of the Christopher Nolan thing, of the Christopher Nolan 3 movies, but we don't need a line of dialogue about like how your masks are... This is your mask. Bruce Wayne is your mask.
Yeah.
You can just show it visually. Like, it's so good. It's so good.
It's perfect. It's brilliant. Masterstroke.
Incredible.
Just so streamlined in the storytelling.
Yes. We got once again just that Keaton Pfeiffer chemistry. They're dancing. They're realizing who they are. I remember Pfeiffer has a line like, and they specifically get it of mistletoe is deadly if you eat it. A kiss is deadlier if you mean it.
Yeah. You also get the line where he says no hard feelings, and then she says actually semi-hard, I'd say, because they're dancing close to each other.
Fuck, really good. But I love the Michelle Pfeiffer line of like, does this mean... As she like clutches him as she realizes who he is. It's like, does this mean we have to start fighting now?
Yeah.
It's so fucking good.
Best scene in the movie.
Best scene of the movie.
So good.
Best scene in a 10 out of 10 movie. Like,
yes, so good.
This might be the best scene in a Batman movie, period. I think it'd be hard to top.
It's up there. It's certainly the best romantic scene.
I would struggle to come up with even a second place, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Your Katie Holmes and your Maggie Gyllenhaals don't really put up a fight.
I don't think so.
Unfortunately, not their fault.
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 Those scripts did not appreciate the talent they had.
No.
So, Masquerade Ball, Penguin storms the hall and tries to take Mac's son Chip Shrek. I don't know what that was.
Dad!
God, I love Chip. Oh, I fucking love Chip.
I haven't seen you this excited since that Diet Coke commercial.
No. Oh God, I forgot about the Diet Coke commercial. I'm excited all over again about the Diet Coke commercial. Not as excited as I am right now about Chip Shrek. If fucking Zack Snyder put a Chip Shrek reference into a movie, I'm not saying it would move it up a full letter grade. Still probably a D, but F to a D.
The funny thing is, so Penguin's here to get Chip, and Max Shrek, that's like the one piece of his humanity, of his character, is that he loves his son. And so he's like, no, take me instead. He convinces him. Can you imagine Penguin came to fucking Trump Tower and was like, give me Eric. He'd be like, fucking who?
Which one? Yeah, take him.
Yeah, take Eric. Please take him.
I think I got another one too. Tiffany? You can have Tiffany too if you want.
You can have actually a bunch of these kids. Just there's only one that I want to keep, and it's for creepy reasons.
Don't vote for that guy, please. If you're one of the 30 people who listen to the show, don't. I would love to know who one of the 30 people who listen to the show is. They're like, actually, I'm a huge MAGA guy.
Yeah,
and I love Smallville and Batman.
You know, that would be interesting, but keep listening. Keep listening.
Keep listening. We need you.
You're welcome here. You're welcome here to listen to our show.
Nah, you're not.
You're not. You're going to hear a lot of stuff that's going to make you mad, but you're welcome here.
I hope it challenges you.
You know, I was a hardcore MAGA guy, but then I was listening to this one show about Smallville.
You know,
really made me think.
You know, I think it's possible. I think we're changing lives here, Zach. Okay. Max persuades Penguin to take him instead of Chip, and Bruce and Selina depart. Bruce, as Batman, attacks Penguin's Red Triangle circus goons and puts a stop to the kidnappings. However, Penguin has a backup plan. An army of rocket-armed penguins.
Oh, sorry. Real quick question. One more thing about the masquerade. Who has a masquerade ball on Christmas Eve? Except for the rich people in Eyes Wide Shut.
I don't think this is that far apart.
No. Similar masks. They're just
Similar
wearing
masks.
clothes.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Keep going with the penguins.
That doesn't seem that strange to me in a Batman movie.
No.
Okay, so Penguin has a backup plan. An army of rocket-armed penguins dispatched to bomb Gotham Plaza. I think the penguins are a mix here of like dudes in penguin suits and real penguins. And you know what?
And animatronics.
Yes.
Yeah,
Looks great. Looks great. Whatever combination it is, looks great.
So Penguin is going to kill all the kids, but then Batman thwarts that plan, and it's this great scene where the little monkey delivers a note from Batman to Penguin. It's like says Batman. It's like says, "I regret to inform you that, or the children regret to inform you that they'll be unable to attend." Signed, Batman. The penmanship is spectacular.
It's great.
Batman, great penmanship,
and that's good to know. That's good to know about Batman.
Even with the gloves on, do you think he took the gloves off to write that, or just
no? I don't think
Alfred did it.
I think Alfred did it.
He was like, Alfred, do this. Write this for me.
Alfred, write this. You could just take the gloves off, sir. Alfred, write it.
Hurry! I'm in a hurry. They're gonna kill kids. You better write it.
Wow, you hate kids, huh? Batman manages to jam the control signals and turn the birds around so that they attack the base instead. Batman confronts the Penguin before he can escape, swarming him with a flock of bats, which causes him to fall through a skylight into toxic waste. Batman glides through the broken skylight and discovers Catwoman has come to kill Shrek, which he unsuccessfully attempts to talk her out of as he is trying to sorry.
Was that you or the wiki?
A little bit of both. Which he unsuccessfully attempts to talk her out of as he is trying to bring Shrek to face the police. During this, Shrek draws a gun he took in the confusion and attempts to kill them both. Batman is shot once, while Catwoman is hit 4 times.
Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed up like Batman?
I love that so fucking much. Have we gotten to the point? Has Michael Keaton ripped off the fucking fruit roll up of a
Yeah, he rips off his mask. I love this. The climax of this movie is an emotional moment.
There's so much good shit here. First off, though, talking in logic stuff of I think the Batman with Robert Pattinson is the first time they've acknowledged like he has to have eye makeup on to not feel
right.
There's. Yeah. Why couldn't Michael Keaton just say, you're telling me we can't believe fucking this Bruce Wayne wouldn't smear eye makeup on? Like,
you know what it is? It's probably because they have never done it before, so they can't have the first time you see it be in this big emotional moment. He has to give this emotional like plea to her.
Yeah, and I get it.
It would be distracting.
I get it. I think it would work. I think, especially if you did it like the Batman where it's like very like self-smeared on.
Right, yeah. And not like perfect. It's
right.
Not, like,
I think it'd be good. But like, so no, instead there's an awkward shot where like he goes, I think we get a shot from behind where he's like pulling it and then it's like, but we still see his eyes. I'm like, those aren't what his eyes look like when he's wearing the cowl.
Normally. Yeah.
And then it's so funny. I have heard from numerous places that line criticized, that Christopher Walken line. Like, what are you doing dressed up like Batman?
What? That's a great line.
That's a great line. It's a great moment in the movie. If you think that's not a great moment, if you think that's fucking stupid or something that he wouldn't know, like, you're bad. You're bad. Stop watching movies you're not allowed.
That's how little he suspected him. He sees him in the suit and he's like, what are you doing? You're not Batman.
Right.
Oh, that makes sense. You are Batman. It's great.
So fucking good.
Yeah. Anyone who doesn't like that is boo.
Wrong. Boo to you.
Wrong. Once again, unforced error.
Once again, this podcast might be more interesting if you and I had different perspectives other than this movie's perfect, shut the fuck up.
No, because I think if either of us didn't like that line, we might not be friends anymore.
We wouldn't have gotten this far into it.
No, exactly.
Okay, so while Shrek looks at his revolver in disbelief, she decides on a murder-suicide by putting a stun gun under Shrek's chin while poetically giving him a kiss of death, simultaneously pulling a cable into a massive generator, causing an overload explosion. Okay, I have my first note. My first note in this otherwise perfect movie. The taser is set up in like the first act of the movie. In that first act of the movie, she finds the taser and is like, a taser. The fuck was she keeping that?
Oh, that's true, yeah. And she has a pocket.
Hey, Zach. Literally, I maybe would have found an excuse to set up that taser maybe a scene before, because otherwise she seems to be pulling a taser out of her vagina.
She's at home getting ready. She's like, all right, this is the big showdown. Ooh, maybe I'll bring that taser.
Maybe I'll bring it.
Maybe I'll bring that taser.
Give one of the fucking goons a taser, and then she takes it from him.
And of course, you get this emotional plea from Batman, like, hey, don't kill him. Let's just go live happily ever after together. So I won't be lonely brooding in my mansion, and you won't be all fucked up.
And you won't just get replaced by Nicole Kidman in a couple of years.
Right, yeah. Oh, whose defining character trait is that she wants Batman's nuts. That's going to be fun to talk about.
It's going to be fun.
And she's like, no, I couldn't. I can't do that.
I think the line is like, I would love to come live with you in your castle. but
right. But I just wouldn't be able to live with myself.
Right. Oh,
so let's not pretend this is a happy ending.
This should not just be two dudes talking about this. Like,
no, exactly.
We fucked up. It's when we talked about, like, we can't risk bringing in a guest who doesn't love this movie because the vibe would be way off. No, we do just want to jerk each other off about how good this movie is.
Yep. And don't shame us for that.
No, it's our podcast. We can do whatever the fuck we want. You're the asshole for listening to it. So when the smoke clears, Batman searches the rubble for Selina, but all he finds is Shrek's blackened corpse. Great piece of fucking, like, model work there.
Yes, a very Tim Burton corpse.
Yes. Penguin, barely alive, emerges from the toxic water and grabs his gun umbrella to kill Batman, but picks up his cute one by mistake. He finally falls dead on the floor and is slid gently into the water by the penguins in it as a final tribute. I think it's Penguin is a Tim Burton monster, and he's a little fucking goblin. But Tim Burton has nothing but affection for little fucking monsters.
Yeah.
You know? And, like,
it's a really sad, the music there is so sad.
That's all Elfman, man. And it really, like, almost Burton's camera is just telling you, like, yeah, he's a fucked up little guy.
Like, Batman Forever ends with, like, Batman and Robin, buddies, yeah, high five. Like, Batman ends with, like, yeah, we got the signal, the city's behind me, let's show it in the sky. And this one ends with penguin funeral.
Just penguins leading the weird man they raised into, like, dragging him into the water.
I don't know how they're doing it, but it's
Batman's girlfriend taser kissed Donald Trump to death, and
and probably maybe died. We don't know.
Probably died. Merry Christmas.
I mean, we do confirm at the end of the movie that she is still alive, and a great little ending.
So we will get to this now. Driving through Gotham, Bruce sees Catwoman's shadow. Investigating, he only finds Selina's pet cat, which he decides to take home in memory of her. As the bat signal lights up in the sky, the figure... we got to get to... before that.
We get the great exchange, which is...
so good.
Ah, come what may. Merry Christmas, Master Wayne.
And then there's...
Merry Christmas, Alfred. And goodwill towards men.
And women.
Yeah. Dude, fucking 1992 they made this movie.
Oh, man. It's so fucking good. And then let's see, so the bat signal lights up in the sky and the figure of Catwoman appears looking at the signal from the rooftop. Now that was added later, very late in production. They spend a lot of money. That is not Michelle Pfeiffer. That is someone else they vacuum sealed into that to get the back of her head. Mostly because they didn't want Catwoman dead, because they wanted to potentially do a spin-off. Because holy shit, Michelle Pfeiffer in this movie, you know? Which is crazy to me, because how else could you imagine that fucking movie ending? It's the perfect final shot of a Batman movie.
Yes. It's so
incredible.
Good. It's so good. I mean, the best Batman movie ends with Batman sad in his little limousine and Catwoman looking at the bat signal in the sky. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. God, what a movie. I'm just looking through right now, looking for anything interesting in the wiki that we may have missed. Sam Hamm was who wrote Batman, was hired to write Batman 2. You were sending me a little bit of the Batman 2 screenplay. I believe some maybe story elements from his stuff was left, but ultimately this is Daniel Waters is the Sam Hamm and Daniel Waters have a screenplay credit, but I think it's mostly Daniel Waters that
story by they have. Yeah,
got it,
Daniel
got
Waters
it.
is the screenplay credit. Yeah.
Got it. Can't fucking complain. It's I have here in the wiki, Waters wrote a total of 5 drafts. Waters came up with a social satire that had an evil mogul backing a bid for the mayor's office by the Penguin. Waters reported, "I wanted to show that the true villains of our world don't necessarily wear costumes." I think it's ahead of its time in 1992. Yep. I also have here from Daniel Waters, screenwriter, "The first draft of my script would have cost $300 million and take 2 years of our lives to shoot. Originally, Penguin's headquarters was in an old World's Fair, and he would turn everything on and Ferris wheels would start rolling after Batman. In the film, Batman is framed and he is trapped in his Batmobile while the Penguin controls the car like a video game. I originally had a lot of wild stuff like riding up the sides of buildings. We definitely had to scale that back." That's how it happens.
Will they do that in Forever? He rides up the side of a building.
That's funny. Funny how that goes. Let's see. We kind of talked about the cast already.
Yeah.
It's the movie did well. We talked about that. It was critically well received. It made money. The problem was it was very controversial. It was very, as we discussed, it's very violent.
So, we should go to tie-in song corner.
Tie-in song corner. Not as memorable as Bat Dance, even though I don't love Bat Dance.
I think this is a better song, though. This is a good. It's actually used in the when they're dancing at the ball, the costume party.
Yes.
What's it called? It's something in the Banshees. Is it listed there?
Goodness gracious. I'm sure that it is. I should have looked it up ahead of time. No, so I'm just looking up Batman Returns song. Oh, gosh golly, working on
Face
it.
to Face.
Face to Face. Face to Face.
By... Hold on. What the hell? Face to Face by Susie and the Banshees?
Huh.
It's dope.
It's a dope song. I have here the trivia section of the wiki. I'm just kind of looking. Max Schreck is a new character of the Batman franchise created in the movie. Originally, Harvey Dent would have played the Schreck role, and in the moment that Catwoman electrocuted him, Dent would have survived, but his face deformed by having been electrocuted, so he would have become Two-Face in the next film. I did know that. I'm glad they did it this way.
Yeah, this is way better.
Yeah, way better. This
is way better.
Bruce Timm was invited to set to sketch. Bruce Timm is the showrunner of Batman the Animated Series. Was invited to set to sketch Danny DeVito and draw inspiration. According to the producers of the series, Schreck was planned to appear in the show at the studio's behest, but at the last minute, it was decided to reimagine the character as Roland Daggett. Interesting. Speaking of Bruce Timm and Batman the Animated Series, Zach, that's our next movie.
Batman Forever came out the same year, but I think it came out before.
I don't think so, my man. I think Batman Mask of the Phantasm is 93.
Really?
I'm checking right now. Batman Mask of the Phantasm is a 1993 animated film. Phantasm's next, my guy.
Whoa. Really? I don't remember that at all. Cool. Dope.
Yeah. So we'll be diving into the second Batman movie spun off from a Batman TV series, and they couldn't be more wildly different.
It's perfect, though. It's good. I'm glad it's released because before Batman Forever, because that show premiered the same year as Batman Returns.
Right. It's I'm so excited to get into it. I think it's going to be an interesting movie to talk about. In that, I'm sure we'll talk about this then. I think it was kind of underrated when it came out. Didn't do great because it was kind of just thrown out there to fill out WB's slate, and then it kind of, I feel like, got like really, really ramped up of like, actually, this is the best Batman movie, just in an effort to like have when the truth is it deserves to be in the conversation of Batman movies. Yeah. Is it the best? We'll talk about it next week. You know,
I think that was a more of a talking point when there were only the Burton and Schumacher movies,
right?
And people were like, "This is real Batman,"
right?
And you have more of a case to make it there,
right?
But it's good. It's good.
It's good. I'm excited to revisit. I already watched a little bit of it. I'm like, man, this is really good. But I'm excited. We'll also talk a little bit about Batman the Animated Series, which
I think, it'll just be a springboard to talk about that.
I think if you had to scientifically, like, what is Batman? And what is the platonic ideal of Batman? It's Batman the Animated Series. Everything like
Absolutely.
Man. Zach, any final thoughts on Batman Returns?
No, it's great. It's fantastic. I love it. I watch it every year around Christmas time. We barely talked about the fact that it's a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie.
It's so
I didn't
good.
watch it this year in anticipation that I was going to have to watch it for this, and I regret that because it would take a couple months anyway. And it's a great Christmas movie.
Yeah.
It's also a different. It doesn't come up that much in like what's a family's Christmas movie. I've never heard anyone say like, "Oh man, my family watches Batman Returns every." So maybe I have to do that with my family. Maybe
you do. 100%.
I have to make my family watch Batman Returns every Christmas.
Yeah. I'm gonna make my kids, when I have them, watch Eyes Wide Shut, and then Child Protective Services will come take me away.
That's it. There was obviously still a lot of like marketing. There was a lot of toys. There was a lot of novelizations, a soundtrack. There is a Batman Returns Super Nintendo game that I quite like, and I still play quite often to this day. It's more of a traditional beat 'em up as opposed to the Batman NES game that is impossible and very hard. Batman Returns is more like, hey man, move to the right, beat up guys, you're Batman. Congratulations.
Great. Yeah, don't overthink it.
Great video game as far as I'm concerned.
Don't overthink it.
Fuck, man. This has been the Talon Mix. Thank you for listening. We have a link in the description to kind of all of our social stuff. We have a Patreon. That's fucking humiliating. If you're inclined to maybe help us keep doing the show, thank you. That's very nice of you. Maybe we'll get something up about the Oscar nomination soon.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Oscar
fun.
nominations. That'd be fun. We haven't talked about it, so maybe we'll do that and get that up soon. That should wrap it up for us. Zach, do you have a question for Batman?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to, so I can sleep better at night. Batman, can you just tell me who's going to be president in next year?
Good night, everybody.